welcome everybody to today's virtual meetup, and we're real excited to have Annabeth with us and her this opportunity for her to share some of the things we've seen around campus over the last couple of months, and specifically in the kindness category. But before we start engaging and talking with Annabeth, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a chat feature. And so if you have any questions today about the chat, we have Shelby today will be helping us with that. And so she'll let us know as new questions come in or some of those guiding questions come in. Also want to remind you too, before we get too far into this, that we do have another virtual meetup today, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. And Shelby, would you mind putting that information in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. And I know it's really exciting because it's the day in the life of respiratory therapists here at UAMS. A lot of times we don't have a lot of clinicians to join us. So today is going to be a really kind of a great opportunity for us to hear about how UAMS is dealing with the COVID-19 crisis through the eyes of a clinician. And so we would really love for you to be a part of that. And so with that, I want to go ahead and just first of all welcome Annabeth for being here today. And we got to talk to her just a little bit before we started recording. But Annabeth's position is relatively new at UAMS, and she is also relatively new at UAMS, which has given her a great opportunity to kind of shape a lot of the things that she does. And so Annabeth, I thought we'd first just start off by asking you, what is your role at UAMS, and what are some of the activities that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so my official title is Special Events and Employee Appreciation Coordinator. So that houses kind of a lot, but it's been really fun. So on the events side, I do all the investitures for doctors on campus, and then kind of all the special things that pop up, like groundbreaking ceremonies, or for an example, last Friday we did a send-off for the UAMS staff members that are going to New York, so I coordinated that. But on the employee appreciation side, I kind of help managers facilitate employee appreciation throughout the year, and then help with events like the holiday party or National Employee Appreciation Day and stuff like that. And then throughout the last year that I've been here, different things have kind of come on, and the kindness campaign is one of those that I've gotten to be a part of, which has been really fun.
So what is that, the kindness campaign, and can you talk to us a little bit of how it began?
Yes, so I believe Dr. Patterson got here just a few months before I did, and so really this is his initiative that he started when he came to UAMS from New York. And it's really just an initiative to work to change the culture. More of just let's get our faces out of our phones when we're walking down the hallways. Let's, be friendly and say hi. So he's kind of started that, and then he kind of passed it off to me, and I've been able to take it and kind of run with it. And so it's really just about trying to cultivate the kind culture, and make awareness that it's easy things that we can do all the time, but it makes a big difference. And I truly believe that it starts at the leadership level, which is really cool about talking to this group, because, some way or another, y'all are all leaders. And so you really have a great responsibility to kind of set that tone in your department or with your team. And since Dr. Patterson started it, he's really set the tone for our whole organization. So that's kind of how it started.
Okay. So what are some of the activities, initiatives, and projects that kind of revolve around what Dr. Patterson what his vision is for kindness across campus?
Yeah. So it's kind of started slow and molded throughout the year that we've kind of been working on it. A couple things that we've done throughout the year, and hopefully some of you have been able to be a part of it, but we've had 2 kindness weeks, which were really just the first one Dr. Patterson did want us to have to kind of spark the awareness and to get people really engaged in the kindness campaign. So we did that back in September, which was kind of just a week long fun stuff. everything from handing out kind bars to be kind to yourself, and different things like that. And then we also had one back in February to go along with National Random Act of Kindness Week. But then back in January, he actually kind of made the call to his cabinet to get kindness champions from every department, because I'm a team of one. So if I haven't met
Okay, so what? 1 second. Does anybody does anybody hear Annabeth? Okay, so Annabeth, I think that we lost your audio. Okay, there we go.
I think she dropped
Oh,
off.
I'm sorry. Did I lose? I think I lost you.
Oh, wait, there you are. Okay, you're back.
You're back. Okay.
Yay,
I'm
technology.
No,
No,
you're
you're
good.
good. You're good.
This is
You're
part.
good.
This is part of it. This is part of it. And so I was just glad we didn't lose you permanently. And I was like,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. If you want to start over again, just talk a little bit about some of the initiatives we did hear about. You know, the Kindness Awareness Week and those kind of things is educational, but also and some of the kindness champions. You know, that talk about initiating kindness champions across the campus. If you kind of want to continue a little bit from there.
Yeah. So he made the call for kindness champions for his cabinet members to kind of ask people, and especially people that, you know, kind of already do this in their everyday lives, to kind of take it on to engage employees in their own department, and just kind of help spread awareness, spread the message. And so since then, we have about 50 people that reach all sorts of areas around campus. And if you know any of the kindness champions in your area, you probably know why they were asked, because they are the kindest people that you will ever meet. They've been so fun to work with. And so what they do is we actually have a kindness calendar every month. I know this is really hard to see, but it looks sort of like this. And every Monday, we have a kindness task. So one of the things Dr. Patterson wanted was to not just be 1 week every few months. He wants it to be all the time. And so the kindness task that we have on Mondays is really easy, simple things like, for example, say hello to 3 strangers this week, or tell your mentor why you appreciate them. You know, so it's little things that take little effort. But for example, what we do in our department is I send out an email every Monday that says, hey, this is what our kindness challenge is this week. I may link a YouTube video that has to do with the kindness challenge, or a kindness quote. And then I have a Google form that they can submit after they have finished their kindness task for the week. And then we keep up with it. And whoever has the most kindness tasks completed through the month receives the kindness award for the month. So we just try to make it fun. But different departments have done different things, and they have been so creative, and they've really inspired me. So I've loved working with the kindness champions. So that's just some of the things that we've kind of started. And hopefully you all have a kindness champion in your department too.
We've seen, even in OD, we've had several different initiatives that we're doing through HR and that kind of thing. So it's neat to see how that unfolds and how people utilize some of those initiatives. Really good. It makes a huge difference. So with the initiatives, what is the overarching goal? I mean, what are we trying to accomplish through the kindness initiatives here at UAMS?
So I think the overarching goal is really to let people understand that no matter, you know, what your position is, we all have a responsibility to change the culture and to create a culture that is something that we like working in, you know, a workplace that we love coming to, that we look forward to coming to, and that we make, you know, friendly for our patients and our guests as well. So, you know, it starts at the top of the organization, I definitely think, but everyone has a say, and it's up to everyone. And it's little things, you know, I mean, It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take hardly any effort. So it's just little things that really go a long way, even if it's just sharing a smile or saying hello in the hallway. You know, we all feel like we know that one person, maybe in our department or we see around campus that you don't really know, but they always say hi. They always are extra friendly. And, you know, it makes you feel good. So I think if we could get more people on board to do things like that, you know, we could really create an environment that we all love and enjoy, you know, here at UAMS.
Aside from friendliness, I mean, from the time that you have been, I know this is kind of Dr. Patterson's initiative, but the time that he has really kind of placed you and at the helm here to guide this, what are some positive outcomes that you're already seeing across the campus?
Yeah, so I can give a couple examples. So we have started a kindness submission portal online on the internet. So if something, you know, kindness has been done to you, or maybe if you've witnessed an act of kindness, you can submit it on there. And it's really fun. They all come to my email. And then we like to take their photo, and sometimes we put it on social media, or sometimes we just give them a little, you know, UAMS promo item or something. But some of them are really heartwarming, and they're so fun to read. So I'll give you a couple examples. One was, this was a few months back, and by the way, most of these you can find if you go look back on our Facebook or Twitter. They all have the little spread kindness frame around them. But the Infusion 4 nurses are such a fun group if you ever have a chance to go and meet them. But they had a patient recently that was getting a sort of treatment that they were really nervous about. It was kind of a newer treatment. They didn't have many family members up here, so they were getting treatment all by themselves. And the whole group, so it was like 10 to 15 of them, went into his room, and they sang Lean on Me all together, dancing and clapping, which just made this patient feel so good. And, you know, that's not part of their job description. You know, that's just something that they wanted to do, to go above and beyond. And so that was really cool. Another story was Travis Ivy. He is in float pool, and he was helping a patient. There was a patient not that long ago that got discharged, but they missed the bus to get home for the evening. And there was a lot of people working on him to try to make sure this patient was taken care of, that they could get home. They didn't have any family up here. They didn't have any money, but they had already been discharged. And he had a care coin. So if you're familiar, a care coin is only given to people as like that you've done something really good, or you've gone above and beyond. So it's kind of an accomplishment anyways, but it's worth like $5 at any of the places on campus, so you can get food or drinks or whatever. And that was all that he had, but he gave that to her so that she could go and get some food for the evening, because she was gonna be there all by herself, and she didn't have anything with her. So, you know, it's just little acts of kindness like that, but it's just people going out of their way, you know, whether it's coworker to coworker. I know in our department, when we do the kindness stuff, you know, whether it's the kindness challenge for the week or kindness bingo back during kindness week, it's really fun to see people get involved and get engaged and kind of really seek out different ways to be kind. So it's been fun to see, and it is fun to hear those kindness stories, and we like to share those.
So Annabeth, real quick, sorry, Tim. We have some people interested in where can we find that link?
The kindness submission portal. Mm-hmm. So if you just type in, even Google UAMS kindness, it should pop up, or it's also linked a couple places. So that's usually how I find it, but you can also find it on the recognition toolkit. So that's under the For Employees tab. Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's under For Employees. It's called Recognition Toolkit. There's a kindness tab on there, and there's a link that says share your kindness story here. You can also click.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and I would love for you guys to share more.
Yeah, well, we would love to do that, Annabeth. And I would think it would be great too if you could when we do our one sheet write-up, we just remind everybody that when we do these kind of conversations, we usually include a tip sheet or a summation sheet of everything. And Annabeth, if I can get some of the links for the Twitter accounts or Instagram or even Facebook, where a lot of these stories are being put out there. I think a lot of a lot of the people in our group would love to see some of these ideas, but also just great to hear good stories, right, in the context of where we've been. So
yeah, I'd be happy to share that, especially right now. I feel like we could all use some feel-good stories.
So I want to shift gears just a little bit and ask you so from a personal perspective, we talked a little bit from an organization perspective, but from a personal perspective, what are some of the factors we can add to our lives that help us promote kindness in our everyday life?
So, it sounds very cliche, but I always think, I want to treat people how I would want to be treated. So, I think the small things that personally I try to do is that I do try to say hello to people, ask how they're doing, especially right now. Like I was on campus yesterday, so I would ask, how are you and your family doing? So I work right by Doc Java, if you're familiar with campus, which is a prime place for people to get lost on campus, because there's 3 ways they can go and people never know which way. So, although I'm new and hardly ever know where they actually need to go, I always ask them if I can help, and then I'll probably walk them down to the information desk so they can get some good directions. But, just offering that and just trying to go out of your way just a little bit. And I think there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Even just telling people that you appreciate their help. I'm in a role where, although I'm a team of 1, I definitely cannot do what I do without help from other people that make things really come to life. And so, really just expressing, hey, thanks for doing that. Like, I really appreciate it. Couldn't do it without you. Like yesterday was National Administrative Assistant Day or something similar. So, in our department, we all wrote little kind notes to, emails to them, which is really cool. It doesn't take hardly any effort, but just telling them that you appreciate what they do and that, the department wouldn't be the same without them. So, just little things like that.
So how about in the context of where so many people are working from home right now at UAMS? It's one thing to kind of run into somebody and to so what are some things that maybe we can do in an environment where we're working in more of a virtual space, ways that maybe we can exercise or show kindness to others?
Yeah, and y'all might have some ideas too. So maybe if y'all have ideas, put them in the comment section and we can share all those. But for what works for our department, and I think we talked about this maybe on one of these, but we all have extroverts in our groups that we know are really struggling through this time. So especially maybe reaching out to them saying, hey, how are you? Do you need a phone call? What can we do? Maybe it's a virtual, meeting, just kind of seeing how everyone is. And then also, I think something I've seen in our department is that some people's workload has gotten really heavy, while some have, dwindled just a bit with, things getting canceled. So maybe the people that are really busy right now, just asking if there's anything that you can do to help. And then, asking how people are feeling, if you know of people that have been sick. And then I know this is not necessarily work related, but it's very easy to ask if your neighbors need help, if they're elderly or if they're immune compromised, asking if they need anything from the store if you're going. And then if you are on campus, you can always do things while staying 6 feet apart, like smiling. And I know on the main campus, the screeners at the main door truly have been so awesome and kind. Every time I walk in, I always think that's a great way to start my day. I'm not up there, but maybe once a week or so, but they're always like, welcome to work, even though it's stressful times right now. There's a lot of things going on and there's a lot of stress happening. But, when they greet me like that, I'm like, wow, okay, that just started my day off right. So, again, everyone kind of gets to play their own part. So just kind of think about different ways that you can reach out to people, especially virtually if your whole team's working from home.
You've talked about kind of these pockets of kindness. You know, we've talked about units, but I'd like to think a little bit more of a global perspective. So what do you think, I mean, how do you think UAMS would look differently if everybody just really embraced kindness?
Oh man, I think it would be the best place to work in the whole world, because I already love UAMS, but if truly everyone could get on board, you know, it would just be a place where everyone could feel comfortable. You know, everyone would like coming, and especially even for the community, you know, guests and patients, you know, they would love coming to UAMS. And truly, I think, you know, from an organizational standpoint, you know, we want to be a place that people want to work, and we want people to want to stay here. And I think that that has a lot to do with it. You know, I mean, of course, people want to like what they do, but if you like where you work and you feel good about where you're working, I think that makes a huge difference. And, you know, I think if you felt the kindness, it would make a lot of difference. And I have seen a big change over the last year, I think. And Dr. Patterson also said he thought the same in his State of the University address a few months back. So I feel like we are making strides, but, you know, we all still have work to do for sure.
So sometimes some of us, you know, I'm guilty of this, is where I just will, you know, get so busy and overlook my responsibility to be kind to my peers, and most of them are here in this, you know, part of team members. But I'm wondering, are there other obstacles other than just being so taxed and so busy we forget to be kind? Are there things that we can do and implement that maybe will help us get beyond those hindrances or challenges or reminders to help to be kind?
Yeah. And no, you bring up a good point, because I think a lot of times, yeah, we do get so busy, or we have deadlines, or, you know, I think sometimes there's a line between making sure, you know, you get your point across in like a respectful way, especially if you're a leader. But I think that it's just, and that's kind of the whole initiative, is keeping it top of mind. So maybe if we can create these you know, things that we do all the time, hopefully it will kind of catch on, and that things can do it all the time. But I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think everyone struggles differently, because I think on another level, you know, if you're an introvert, you know, I think some of these kindness tasks that we might put out there feel a little bit out of your comfort zone, you know, saying hi to strangers and things like that. So I can, you know, relate even a little bit to that. And that causes, you know, barriers, you know, not that you're not kind, but maybe you're, that just is out of your comfort zone, you know, to go up to random people. So, you know, and if that's not your thing, you know, that's okay. Maybe it's a smile instead of actually verbally saying, hey, how are you today? You know, and in regular times, maybe it's holding an elevator, you know. So it's, yeah, I think we all can struggle, but I think if we could keep it top of mind and just remember to treat people how you want to be treated, you know. I mean, kindness is never going to be wasted, you know. Even you know, the people that are not kind, I'm sure we all deal with some of those, but, you know, just then kill them with kindness, you know how the saying goes. So
Sure. Shelby, do we have some comments or questions?
Oh yeah, Jamie Thornton shared an idea about working from home, and she said one idea is just reaching out with helpful information, just emailing out things about Headspace website that is free for healthcare workers and the physicians. So that was an idea. And I love how you talked about introverts, Annabeth, and said, like, you know, for an introvert, I'm definitely not one, but for an introvert, it can be hard and it can be uncomfortable and push you out of those comfort zones to talk to other people and say hi to a stranger. But I'd like to make the point that, you know, anytime you're learning and you're growing as a person, it's uncomfortable, right? Like, so if you stay in this little bitty round I'm comfortable here zone, and don't push yourself out of that. It's when you get out of that comfort zone is when you get to really learn and thrive as a person. And so challenge all of y'all to do that, all my introverts.
Good point.
Well, we are coming to the end of our session, and so Annabeth, I always want to give our host our guests, if there's anything I didn't ask you or anything you want to communicate to our group, if the discussion just didn't lead in a direction, maybe you wanted to share something with us. If there's anything, as I said, anything you'd like to share with us now would be a really great time. If there's anything.
Well, I definitely want to say thank you for having me, and thanks to everyone that that came. But really, it's just, please do take this as like, this is your opportunity, as a leader, to really set the tone in your department or your office or your team. And then if you don't have a kindness champion, we have about 50, but if you don't have one, and you either want to be one or someone in your group, that would be great. Please send me their name and their information, and I can email them just to make sure that we really are spreading across as many departments as we can, because it really does make a big difference. I've seen a difference in our department, and I know the 2 kindness champions that are in HR have done some really amazing stuff. So I've seen really good feedback. So if you don't have one, please let me know, and I'd be happy to work on that to make sure that we're getting to your department as well.
So Annabeth, if people need to generate ideas, or maybe a unit or together they want to come, can they contact you and maybe get some ideas from you, or maybe kind of get a consult from you about how to implement more kindness strategies within their work unit?
Yes, absolutely. Please let me know. I'm happy to help. And that actually brings up a really good point that I didn't talk about. So on the recognition toolkit, you can Google it, or like I said, it's on the For Employees page. There is a kindness tab, and it's a place where all the kindness champions have kind of started to share ideas. So there's tons of examples that we've already done on campus that have worked for different groups. So if you need some ideas, you can also get some really good ideas from there, or you can contact me, either one.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll be sure. It would be okay if we include your email address, your UAMS email address, with our summation and
Yes.
contact for you. Great. Well, thank you so much, Annabeth. This has been great. It certainly I've learned a lot more about the kindness campaign. Of course, as you mentioned, we have great champions in HR, and they're doing a terrific job. I want to thank everybody for being here this morning, and just to remind you also that we do have another virtual meetup, which will be where we have one of our clinicians will be sharing with us about the day in the life of as a clinician here at UAMS, working within the COVID-19 backdrop, but maybe also give us some ideas of how we can be a little bit more supportive to those people who are certainly on the front lines and working with patients and working with our Kansans that are struggling to beat COVID-19. And so we want to invite everybody to be a part of that. Shelby, is there anything else that we need to cover before we go?
No, I'll make sure that when we do that one-page overview, to get all of those Facebook handles, the Twitter handles, and all of the kindness portal links out there for you guys to have.
That would be great. Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, we will look forward to seeing you this afternoon and at our next virtual meetup. So have a great morning, everyone. We'll see you.